I'm here with my friend Miss Sylviana, who's a marketing strategist. And so if you need help with your marketing, you want to check her out. Also, I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. So, welcome to the conversation today. We always like to have a conversation around how to grow in your personal life and your business. And today we're going to be focusing on how to improve your business. What's going on, Fran?
Hey, so today we're going to be talking all about what may be holding a small business owner or a small business back from the success that they seek. What could
Mm-hmm.
be the holdup? What's the holdup? Okay, I like that better. What's the holdup? Um, and we have some, we talk about things here just because we want to get people set free. And I've seen apprehension in people where they're right on the cusp of going big and getting it all done, and then they shrink back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things. I didn't put it in my notes, but I think a fear factor might be one.
I
The
was
fear
going to
of
say,
success.
yeah,
The
that,
fear of success.
mhm.
I'm about to make it.
Yeah, and Coach Karen talks about this a lot. That those sneaky fears.
Mhm.
Fears that what will my friends think because I don't have time for them? What will my family think because I'll have more money and they're always asking me for money? How am I going to handle that? Can I really handle success with the people that I'm connected to? Will people dislike me because I'm now in a different income bracket? Do I have to act different like some of the mean people I see who have money? Will I become them? A lot of fears that we don't really acknowledge. They're subconscious, yes. And I think Coach Karen called them sneaky fears, friend.
She did.
Yeah, yeah. All lingering back there. Go ahead, Savannah.
I think my fear as a business owner set in. I mean, because let's just think about the journey. As an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur, you have an idea, you're excited, you're like, going at this full force, and then you kind of realize along the way, especially if you don't have a mentor, especially if you're not a part of a community like Biz Chicks, you're kind of like, okay, I want to do this thing, but then I'm finding out it's all this paperwork to register. I'm finding out that it actually you have to pay to have a business, right, in a
Mm-hmm.
state. I'm finding out that I may not have the marketing materials or the resources, right? So I think the realization of the sneaky talks comes in as in, okay, can I do this? Which we can, but I think it's the fear factor really of, okay, do I have the ability? Meaning, am I capable? But also, do I have the external factors, right? The resources, even if it's just the common knowledge. A lot of people are just like, okay, I want to do this thing, but how do I do it? Right? That's the huge question. Now, for more seasoned entrepreneurs, I think even along the way, it's always a that sneaky talk of, should I be continuing? Am I doing this the right way? Especially if you're in the beginning stages and you're not making a lot of money or you're spending a lot of money, it's like, okay, should I continue doing this? Is this worth it? Right? So you definitely have to have a certain resilience, but also 100% I guess confidence in what you're building to really, I guess, succeed. You can
Mm-hmm.
kind of scare yourself out of it of just the journey entirely because it's hard. It is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think
Absolutely.
when I think when a person has maybe been on a 9 to 5 working for someone else, when you worked for someone else, all of the other things were put into place for you. The system was already set up by the IT department. The You had a supervisor or someone who was telling you exactly what to do, and you didn't have to come up with
Mm-hmm.
these things on your own. But now you have to
Mm-hmm.
hold on. You're the one that's doing all of this, and you're wearing the different hats, and you're like, wait a minute, did I get that right? Did I get that right? and you're sometimes second guessing, and that can really be a holdup for somebody when you used to be, it's almost like when you're renting versus owning. When something break down when you're renting, you just call the landlord and say, okay, I need the plumbing worked
Mhm.
on. But when you own it, now you have to call and it comes out of your pocket, and there's a difference. It's the same way in our business. There is a difference when
Mhm.
you are the owner. Because these things are no longer taken care of for you. Before, it just seemed like, oh, I go to work and I come home and it's all done.
Mhm.
No, I have to do it now.
Mhm.
I'm checking in. I'm following up. I'm trying to make sure I'm meeting regulations and everything else. It is no longer I'm the employee and I don't have to, oh, that's not my job. No, everything's your job now.
You're the
So
CEO.
here
Mark's
it
got
comes.
some comments over here.
Go ahead, hit them up.
Okay, he's talking about unconscious fear of success is prevalent in every person that I've worked with. What if the dream that I've held is not the thing? Then my whole life will have to have been a lie. So I'll just get
Close.
close.
And a lot of people do
Mhm,
that. They close. They're like, oh, I must be a fraud then
mhm.
because
It's,
this ain't what I'm supposed to be
this is not what I
doing.
saw. And then he goes
Right.
on to say, fear of failure is a story that we often tell, but when you peel the onion, that's usually not it. And, and that's true. Most of the things that we fear never happen, never take place. You know what I'm saying? There's
They
something.
never occurred.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. And I
What
think, with what he said at first, the unconscious fear of success, I think in today's society, especially, there is this misconception that you have to be an expert. There's this like flying expert coach, mentor, title everywhere, right? And it makes it very difficult, especially for new entrepreneurs that are just starting out. It becomes and biased to learn. And it's like, no, I know when I started 5 years ago, I was very quick to, have conversations with other entrepreneurs that I knew to get a CPA or to get the right marketing materials or to make sure that I was registering my business under the right entity. Like, it is okay to ask questions. I think that the bar for success in entrepreneurship is how you make it. Like, it really is depending on your journey. It's depending on where you are. And I think as you continue to climb, you adjust, but I think every level is extremely difficult, from the beginning to the middle. I can't say the end, right? Entrepreneurship is just is a scalable thing. It's what you make it. And I know when I was an entrepreneur, especially when I was working my 9 to 5, it did become very daunting. Like, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I in a position to step away? All those real questions kind of came into play. So I think entrepreneurship and success is just something that I think we should give ourselves grace on. I think it's something that you just establish as you go.
That's good.
And
Um,
we've had these conversations, Fran, about what is success, right, Silviana? We've had this.
yeah. And Mark always has a really good definition of
Mhm,
success.
mhm,
I'm sure he will put that in the comments over here so that we can look at it again. But
mhm,
what is success to you? Because success is not everybody's success is not for everybody.
mhm,
My definition of success is not the same as Sylviana's or yours,
mhm,
Terry. We, what I might see as success is like, oh, I got that apple out the tree and I'm happy. Other people's success is like, I need all the apples out the tree and selling them
mhm,
down the road to the Mrs. Smiths or whoever's going to make the pie.
Uh-huh.
everybody's different. Everybody's definition of success is going to be different. Okay, and here's Mark's comment. See,
Mhm.
success is aligning your thoughts, your words, and actions with a clearly defined vision.
Mhm.
So once you know what it is that you want, then you align your thoughts, your words, and your actions with that vision. A lot of people
Mhm.
don't know what they want. Let's just go there.
And
Go ahead, Sylvia.
yeah, when I read that, the first thing I thought was create a solid plan. You know, I messed up at the beginning. I'm going to tell my story. I did not create a business plan. I did not have a solid business plan, so I lacked direction in my business at first. Like I said, I had an idea, and I will tell anyone your business is not established by you; it's established by the audience. The quicker you can get it out to the world and refine and adjust, the faster you can scale. Truly. But when I read what Mark had just put in the comments for his definition of success, what I read was create a solid plan. Uh,
Mhm.
for an entrepreneur, you have to have a clear business plan with goals, strategies, timelines, and you have to review and adjust as you go regularly. And I think that's something that I did not do, which did not help me move forward quicker, I feel like. So I know we're talking
Mhm.
about, entrepreneurship and success and how, what holds back a business owner. I would say a solid plan. It's very easy. It's very easy in entrepreneurship to get confused in direction. There's so many ways to go, even for just one industry, right? For
Yeah.
instance, if you want to sell clothes online, you can do drop shipping, you can do Amazon, you can do inventory. Like there's just so many different ideas. So it's so important that you create a solid plan.
That's really good too. The sometimes we think because we're in 2024, we don't need the business plan. Faith demands a plan. Whatever you're working on demands a plan. So how am I going to do this? And that's the part. Some people don't want to do the planning. Some
Mhm.
people don't want to sit down and write the plan for the thing that they want to do.
Mhm.
And it's on a whim, just like, oh, let's try this. There's a lot of people swinging from here to here trying different things, when if you sit down and establish the plan, and when you establish the plan, you'll begin working on it. It will become boring
Mm.
to follow that plan. McDonald's does not change their menu every week. It's the same hamburger and fries. Now they added to it with the riblets or whatever else, but they had a plan. It was the patty, the bread, the patty, the pickle, the mustard, the this out the door. Oh, you want fries with that? Okay. Then it was the bread, the patty, the pickle, the mustard, the ketchup, it was, and that's very boring. But but are they still here?
They're here and they're expanding, and they're charging us a fortune. Okay, because they
For the
got
same
marketing, and
bread
the
and
kids are going by saying, "There it is," because their marketing has really been superior.
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
And they had a plan, or one of them people, Ray Kroc, somebody had a plan. They had a plan, and they said, okay, we'll do this. And they worked the plan. They wrote out the plan. And I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we do stuff by the seat of our pants and just like, okay, let's try that. How about we
Mhm.
get a plan first? What is it that we want to do?
Mm.
So that's one of the major things, is that plan.
Mhm.
Um, Lack of planning, the limited resources.
Mm. Mhm.
Mark says, I do not compartmentalize by taking someone who only wants a business strategy. If you want to ensure the highest level of success, every piece of your life must be in harmony with the intended end. Sabotage often shows up in the non professional portion of your life. Look at all of it. Mark, we should
Mhm.
get you a link so you come in here and talk. The non-professional part of your life
Mhm.
is probably running the entire business.
Okay.
And I think we just talked about resources. So when I think
Expand on
resources,
that. Mhm.
I'm thinking, what are you willing to sacrifice? Some people may
Mhm.
say they don't have, enough funding or staff help, and we all know that can be very difficult, especially at the beginning. But what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to go without so maybe that you can invest more in your business or you can spend more time in your business, right? I think going back to the plan, again, I love plans because you know exactly what you need, right? If you're able to jot down, strategically your goals and the strategy, you're also able to say, okay, like you said, McDonald's, I just need a couple of patties. I know I need some buns, just some ketchup, maybe, right? The pickles, that's all I need, right? And I can get a lot of that because
Mhm.
that's what I know the menu is going to be every week. It allows for you to strategize in a different way, right? So I think for me, funding was a huge thing. Like, do I want to crowdfund? Do I want to do VC funding? Do I want to personally just invest in my business, right? And just, sell as they come. I know for those who have a product, it becomes, again, that's where these different varieties of strategy comes into play, because I will tell a retail owner quickly, I may not want to do an inventory, right? Inventory makes it very difficult, especially if you're doing clothes, maybe two-piece items. Are you selling them together? I've had so many clients where they have to do so many sales because they don't have the correct bottoms to pay the shorts or bottoms to tops, right? Like, it becomes a very difficult thing for inventory. So I would always say maybe drop shipping. If you're doing lawn work or something of that sort, maybe staffing is something that we may want to consider rather than scaling out, right? I always tell people, you want to use your money in a way that makes sense. I always say marketing materials is the best way to go firsthand, simply because that's going to be your way to reaching your customer, right? But we want to
Mhm.
do that in a way that makes sense and that's affordable to you. But again, we can only think of these things if we know what Mark was saying, our end. If we know exactly what our product is going to be, if we know exactly what our timeline is going to be, right? It makes it a lot easier for you to, which we've talked about a lot, small goals, right? Just saying,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to do these three things. This is how we're going to push this forward. It just makes it a lot easier. But I'm going to say resources as a optimistic thing, right? Because the more that you have your goal, your goals, the more you know what resources you need to kind of get there, right? Or what
Mhm.
mentors or communities you need to be a part of.
Right.
So yes.
This is when you were referring to uh, the funding. I remember TJ talks to us about either you're going to put in the time or you're going to hire somebody. If you don't have the funds to make the hire, you're probably going to be doing some of the work, your time or money.
Mhm.
So maybe on the marketing, and you don't have the money to do the whiz bang pow whole thing, but you can pick up the phone and make calls to the clients and to the customers saying thank you, doing the work of the marketing that the other marketing people would be doing for you. I get emails or things that saying, hey, we can be your back office. We can make calls for you. We can generate leads for you. And I don't necessarily um, latch on to that because I need my voice to be heard, not not the necessarily that they're robotic, but they are not me
Right.
when I talk to the clients. So and then that leads to more revenue. I remember learning this early on in real estate. Uh, an appointment leads to a sale. And in order to get an appointment, you need to make a phone call. Or, there, I was going to say email, but email is so interesting nowadays. If you don't text somebody and tell them that you sent them the email, they're probably not going to get it. So just bypassing that whole thing and just text somebody, you're probably going to get more of an answer. So having, making a connection leads to an appointment, which ultimately will lead to a sale. But you have to do that all the time. If you decide, oh, I'm going to take a break, give me some coffee, and for 2 weeks, you're breaking the cycle, which then is reducing your funding and your resources, because you have to keep talking to people.
Mm-hmm. And I think what I just heard you say is lack of systems too. You know, what holds a business back? Lack of systems. You know, even if it's not, it's important. You know that it's important that at that specific touch point in your business that you want to talk to your customer. That gives it more of a value, right? So that you also know that, okay, there may need to be a follow-up email set. There may need to be some planning. That appointment needs to be scheduled, right? So these, again, when you know your systems and you know what process you want the process that you want your customers to have, then again, that lack of systems can really hurt you. I know so many people that require you to text them or DM them as business owners in 2024. I don't know what that's about. But no, I need to be able to schedule the appointment, click the link. I don't want to always have to go through you. You know, you're texting me or trying to get a reminder of what time my appointment's supposed to be. It's important to have use systems, you guys. And I know Miss Francine knows tons of them, knows tons of them. So if you need a system on appointments or scheduling or websites or anything, make sure you reach out to her, because there's no reason why you should not have the appropriate systems in place, because that can definitely hold your business back.
Right. And Mark's comment is, he says, the greatest lie we tell ourselves is that we do not know what we want. If we know what we do not want, then at some level, albeit unconscious, you know what you want. It needs to be dissected. I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't know what I want. Well, you know what you don't want. So you just flip that, and then now you know what you want.
I like that.
And sometimes we are moving so fast or trying to keep up with whatever we perceive is we're supposed to be knowing and doing, that we don't stop and determine, you know what, I don't like Spumoni ice cream. But we're I really don't like this. We're doing things that we don't like.
Or I don't like it anymore.
And it's okay to see that right there. It's okay to change your mind. Somebody told us we can't. Hey, Dr. Tachi, somebody said we can't change our mind. Or I don't know where that thought comes from. This is no longer serving me. I need to change.
And that's with anything. Ice cream, people, systems.
Locations, yeah. All of that.
Right. And if this is no longer serving you, but if you had your plan and you've been working your plan, you can tell whether this is no longer working. Like the buggy whip. I can't use the buggy whip on that steel horse. That no longer works. And I need to get with the program.
Wow.
Things are happening. I remember somebody, did you say bologna ice cream? Dr. Tachi. Oh my gosh, she said bologna ice cream. We must do the things that we're supposed to be doing, work that we enjoy doing, as well as so that it brings in an income. At some point, wasn't there a doctor who had no bedside manner because he wasn't enjoying whatever he was doing, and the patients was like, oh, and he was keeping them back in droves. because this was not what he was supposed to be doing. I think he was a dentist, but he was doing it because his parents said this is what he should be doing. But nobody was happy about the process. The clients wasn't happy. Although he was good, he was very good because he was studious and he did all of the right things as far as he can do the work, but nobody wanted to work with him when you're a grouch.
If you don't like what
so one of the things you need to incorporate is kindness, respect for your clients.
But you can't have that if you don't like the job. You just like, oh, I gotta go back to that place.
It's terrible. That is
and it's terrible when you own the company.
It's terrible if you're the only dentist in town too. And you think you're successful, but the real deal is there's nobody else to go to.
And you know, you're tied on to doing something because it was expected of you. This was not your plan.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've noticed, if you don't have a plan, people will be happy to give you one.
Won't they? They will give you an assignment, girl.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And
if you're not doing anything, do this for me.
And if you're not clear on what it is, and you start picking up everybody else's assignment, you will never get to you can have your dream job. You can have your dream business. You really can. I know a person, they are living their dream business. They're getting customers and clients because they are not, what's the word I want to use? They did not compromise on what they wanted. And they know what they didn't want. People try to put them into finance, and you can make money. How many people have come to you and said, "Oh, you can make a lot of money doing this"?
Mm-hmm.
I think the medical field is big. Even I said, I'm like, you know, these nurses are making a lot of money, but if that's just not your calling, don't do it. And you know, finances was big for me. In business school, they want you to go to finance. You know, they want you to get into accounting. You know, banking. No, I had a few too many internships. I was like, this is not me. You know, I don't want to do this. You know, you definitely have to do yourself.
Right. And now Mark talked about the non-professional part of you. Have you ever been into something and you can feel it in your back, like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing? You feel it in your body that I can't take another day of this. I cannot. Your body is telling you, please stop. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. We don't belong here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we sometimes do not pay attention to the physical, non-professional side of us. Our brain already said, you know what, you sense it down inside. Your gut feeling is like, this is not what I should be doing. And then your body some people was breaking out in hives and some other stuff. And because this was not for them, and they tried to, what is the word, buck up and just do it anyway. No.
Force. Suck it up.
But you can't just suck it up. You cannot do that. And there's many people who are living with different ailments and things because they are not being their authentic selves. If I can go back to vernaculars that we've learned.
And a lot of times it's because they're not on their assignment. They're on an assignment that someone created for them because they didn't sit down and figure out what their real assignment is.
There are a lot of people come, you know what, get Francine. She's a go-getter. She can do it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing, because I know me. I'm not there are certain things I saw this yesterday. Somebody asked me about how to start a podcast. I was like, oh, I know how to help you. And I have to remember, I know how to help somebody do it, but I need to have an appointment with you. I need to have my system together and not just solve it when they talk to me in a hallway.
Right.
One, they're
Start.
not going to retain all of what I'm going to tell you, but I can picture a whole situation with your podcast, have you up and running in a podcast in about an hour. However, I need to have my system together because part of that system is charging you for my time.
Okay.
And I love helping people. I truly do. It makes me so happy to just sit down, especially when people are excited about what they're trying to do. I've been someone who needed information, right? Or just needed a little bit of guidance. So I always like to give back, but I will definitely tell you, over the years, I've had to learn to be able to discern who is really going to move on the information, right? Because you will end up wasting so much time talking to someone, following up that they ain't moved nothing. You more excited than they are, right? Like it becomes a circus, right? And so for me, even just as simple as my discovery calls, I will charge a small fee, put it towards your service, right? If you become a client, but because again, that turns away those who are not as serious, right? I got to do something, y'all. You got to let me know you willing to just invest a little bit for just the information, right? So I know that, again, you plan on doing something with it. I don't think there's anything worse than reaching out to someone who, such as yourself, Miss Francine, and then wasting her time. That is crazy.
And then I have to not waste my own time. And sometimes business owners don't know how to protect their time or protect what they're doing because they don't have a system in place, or they don't know how to ask for the money. And Terry and I will tell some people in a heartbeat, hire somebody who can ask for the money. If you cannot ask for the money, you have your prices and stuff set, find somebody who can be, let me let you talk to my team let me let you talk to my team member who handles all of the appointments and stuff like that. That person can ask for the money. If you can't do it, you find somebody who can do it.
I've heard that before. Like, you should not be the first person. And again, depending on where you are, right? It is difficult to hire staff. So sometimes it makes more sense to hire a virtual assistant or maybe this person over the other. But I've definitely heard in the service business, especially like, consulting and things of that nature, you should not be the first person on your touch point because it's just something to access. I don't know. People, I don't know what it is. People just need that extra touch point so they know it's serious.
Right. And having having somebody to be the first point of contact. The first point of contact is so important. Yeah. And there's you're consulting with someone, because people will come and say, hey, I'd like to do such and such. Okay, so let's schedule an appointment. And if I send you the link and you never book the appointment, but then you see me again, hey, we should talk. Here's the link for you to book the appointment. And then those appointments that actually have a dollar figure associated with it, it kind of clears the playing field because now you don't walk up to McDonald's and sample that burger. Yeah. You're invested some way in the burger. Getting in the line, order the burger, you're going to invest. Mark has a comment here. He says, you need to know what you're good at, but never allow that to eclipse your pursuit of what you want. The two are not always initially the same.
Well stated.
Wow.
So I went to this restaurant because another part of what may be holding you up is your marketing. And this is Silviana's forte. But I went to a local eatery because I saw someone on YouTube came from Atlanta somewhere and did a review of this eatery in Sacramento. Now, I had seen it before, the eatery, and I had been there before. but I didn't go. I've not gone back. It's been 3 or 4 years since I've been there. I went back. I was like, oh, so they do that. Let me go back and check them out, because he talked about the food, how really good it was. He also said this place is a dump, meaning that the atmosphere wasn't, but it had really good soul food. So, but he said the place was a dump or whatever. But
The ambiance was not working.
the ambiance was, and he was not kidding. The ambiance was like, oh, okay. So you ordered your food. I got mine to go. You could stay there and eat, but most people got it to go. There was not a lot of people sitting, but the food was good. The food was really, really good. And so, and they were the one place they had snapper. I don't like catfish too much, but I do like snapper. So they had the snapper, and they had green beans. And he said, now I know these green beans are frozen, but these green beans are good because she seasoned the beans. I didn't see, she wasn't at the counter taking the orders. She back there making sure the food is the way it's supposed to be. Someone else was taking the order. Someone else was in there prepping and doing the food and everything. But she has been there year after year after year, and the food is good. This is Sunday. People was in and out picking up food, and you can call in and pick up it's unlike that place you went to, Silviana, that it wasn't open.
Right. So I know what you're talking about. That was in Concord, but I want to say I'm going to text you, because I think I know which place you're talking about, possibly, because to your point, it is great, has great soul food. Water bread has great soul food, the whole nine.
Yeah, that hot water cornbread is off the point.
Okay, so we're here. But you're absolutely right. Okay, so it goes back to what Miss T said before about the dentist. Just because you're the only one in town, because Sacramento, y'all, we only got a few spots, so I get it. But just because you're the only one in town, do not think that you have completely seceded over a market, but you're not really tailoring or adding value proposition to them, right? Because you're absolutely right. I've maybe sat down once or twice, just because I want to get the gumbo fresh, and just been like, wow. Now they've made small changes, but it could be so much better, right? So again, you guys, when it comes to marketing, one, you could be doing yourself a huge disservice if you're not, one, reaching the right audience, or you're failing to stand out, which can limit your visibility, right? Now, I know most people who've been in Sacramento for years know the spot, but to those who may be coming in who are new, I know the city's growing, they may not be quite as familiar, right? They may only know those spots that most of us want to go to have a drink, cocktail, a nicer ambiance, right? So it's huge. Even if it's a mom or pops, right? Even if you are a food truck, there is no reason why you should not be taking your marketing 100% seriously. I wouldn't care if you just had a picnic table. It was completely, had your marketing on there, right? It was nicely packaged. What a fan, whatever, right? Or better yet, don't even provide it if you can't provide it at 100%. Okay, just because you just don't want to say the food is good, but people was in and out, right? It kind of, for someone who's new, unless I'm a foodie, so I'm gonna go, but unless I'm extremely unless I really just want that food, I may not want to go, just simply because it sounds like, okay, is it going to be infested? It makes me a little bit afraid, right? On, okay, how the food is being prepared, things of that nature. So marketing is huge, guys. There are some people who just do not believe in marketing, and I get it. It doesn't matter if you've been running your business for 20 years or if you've just been running your business for the last 12 months. You have to be able to market your business correctly by, one, identifying your target audience. So that doesn't matter if it's on social media or within a local area. Two, making sure that your content marketing is phenomenal. Okay, guys, it does not have to be exactly perfect, but you should be showing up. Biz Chick shows up on a daily basis. Okay, folks, you know what to expect every day, which gives you a level of credibility that you want to have, and that's from food to entertainment to whatever you're doing. Okay, and then also making sure, like you guys are saying, you want to stand out. You want to make sure that the value proposition is there and is unique. It's great that you may be doing one thing well within your business, but you ultimately want to make sure that all of it, again, that omni-channel is working in your favor. So no, something as simple as furniture, something as simple as the ambiance, depending on what you're doing, something as simple as the customer service is extremely imperative when it comes to your growth. And I know ultimately that's what we're talking about today. What could be hindering you? So to hear that, again, we have a phenomenal establishment. It's hard to find good food. The hard part is done, and now we just need to do things like customer service, making sure that our customers feel welcomed, making sure that there is an ambiance, making sure that you now are opening up your channels maybe to other markets, right? Those are things that you can do when you have something that's working. And it sounds like for this business, it's working. But if they would just that little, they probably feel like, hey, don't fix what's not broken. But ultimately it is. If people are saying, I just wish this was just that, you have to be able to your customers, because they're going to tell you ultimately how to grow and how to better your business.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And again, the food is outstanding. Food is outstanding. I'm just, it is in, it's in a part of in the neighborhood wasn't even bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just that when you roll up, you're like, oh,
right.
The Instagram was handwritten on, I think it might have been a paper bag and put up on the wall.
And the menu.
No, the menu, they had menus, so that were laminated, so that was good. But this was how to find them online. Like somebody had a paper bag, put it up on the thing, and wrote in felt. I was like, okay.
And that is why it's so important to have mentorship. And that's why it's so important to get the right people a part of your team and spend the money in the right places, right? Simply because two things that I just heard. Your Instagram in today's digital age, you might want to have that in a place where, one, people can see, two, it can be written clearly. Like that's something that's extremely important, just so that people understand what's going on, maybe what specials you're having. They're able to kind of contact you, right? That's something we want. But also, too, what I also heard was those menus. You don't know how much money they're probably spending, or how much time that they're spending maybe sanitizing the menus at night, or how much money they're spending maybe getting them, you said they were laminated, or getting new ones, right? When nowadays you can easily have a QR code, just the environment itself will be more appropriate. Even if all of that, where you walk in, I believe there's a menu, like there's a printed menu right there. And then there's like the small where you come and order. If all of that could be redesigned in a way that the menu was clear, their socials, their website was clear. You also can scan the menu. Can you imagine how much quicker that could be? Or perhaps if that person at the front who was taking the orders was perhaps they had more of a digital system, right? Maybe more of an ordering system. I think that could also help.
It was written, but because she took the paper. Yeah. Wrote it. Yeah, I was like, okay. But she took the order, and what I did like is it wasn't the menu wasn't confusing. You're gonna either get fish, a side, and it up. You're gonna get ribs, a side, and it up. It wasn't like, can I get a la carte? It was, you want ribs, what side do you want? You want the snapper, what side do you want? You want the gumbo, what side? It was not confusing. And that part I liked, because it wasn't all over the map. You gonna get it. It was like you get a burger, the patty, and that system. That part was good because it wasn't confusing. But you wasn't switching up, they was not confusing themselves.
Very good. I like that, because it takes people too long to order when they have too many choices. A confused mind will not make a decision. And there's nothing worse than standing behind somebody who's
I'm gonna be honest. Anytime I go to the Cheesecake Factory or like any menu that's that large, I'm telling the waiter, like, can you just top three? Like, can you just tell me, please? I need some help. Because you're right, it's overwhelming. It is very overwhelming.
Mark said, put the soul back into your soul. This ain't it unless your soul is tired and unattractive. And to your point about Cheesecake Factory, they have a book. It should not be a book for a menu.
And my question is, how can you be good at all of this? And what am I coming here for? If it's a Cheesecake Factory, shouldn't cheesecake be the draw,
the main
feature
thing
on the menu? Because I can get a hamburger, a club sandwich, whatever, and soup somewhere else. What makes you unique? Isn't that what you said, Silviana?
Yes, ma'am. Unique value proposition.
Let's focus on what makes you unique, and then it's going to cut down on you having to carry all that inventory.
What do you do well?
Right.
The restaurant I was speaking of, they did what they did well. They just needed clean. And the place was clean. I'm gonna say this: the place was clean. it was just
as long as it's clean, I can deal with it. I say they just need to switch over to takeout only. Here's Dr. Tachi. She says, I generally order the same thing every time I go there, referring to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's just too much. It takes too long to read the menu.
The Sheila salad. I'm not trying to figure out the Sheila salad. You ain't gotta miss me with all of the rest of that.
I'm going to be truthful with you. I haven't been back. I think I went maybe 3-4 years ago, and the menu was so overwhelming that I just. And when if I were to go now, I'd probably order coffee and cheesecake, no matter whether we were there for lunch, breakfast, or whatever.
Dr. Tachi said they're basically just mediocre at many foods.
Exactly. The jack of all trades.
Like Jack in the Box.
Master
is
of
another
none.
one. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, you can get Jack in the Box is known for hamburgers, but they have what is this? Fajita bowls,
tacos,
Chinese food bowls. And so I was like,
craziness.
Okay. Mark has a comment here. He says, I had a conversation with the owner of a local taqueria. The food was amazing, but they were struggling. I said, why do you have wings on the menu? Who's coming to a taqueria for wings? Focus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Truly. And I think what happens is, for that restaurant that you were talking about, when Miss T recommended, like, hey, I think they should switch out just takeout. We tend to, as business owners, feedback is important, but ultimately it's your job to discern and make a decision, right? And so ultimately, if you can't do it at 100%, it may just be best not to do it right now. It doesn't mean that we can't do it at all, but maybe just not right now, because we want to do it right? And so for that takeout suggestion, I like that. For Mark's suggestion as far as the wings, what are we doing? Even Jack in the Box. I think what's happening is these, especially like Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, people are not coming. And so they're like, okay, what can we do? Right. Even Popeyes. I was very shocked that they got the wings, but you see now they're doing boneless, but it's like, okay, they're trying to clearly market to what's working, but to a consumer, it's very scary. It's kind of
overwhelming
and very overwhelming. I agree.
Yeah. Like this, there's one restaurant that doesn't mess that up. In-N-Out. You are not getting turkey burgers. You ain't getting no bison burger. You're going to get a burger. You can get a double. You can get a fries. You can get fries. You can get animal fries. And you can get lemonade or milkshake or other fountain drink. But that is it. And their lines are around the block.
When we were initially talking about McDonald's, I was thinking In-N-Out because, again, they have 4 meals 4 meals. I don't even know if they have a kids meal. Like even the kid, listen, this is what we do, right? I think at one point people were talking about the secret menu. I found the secret menu. It's pretty much the menu with some just add-ons, maybe. Like they're
Exactly.
sticking to what they're sticking with. But I think In-N-Out is the perfect example because again, with them strategizing and let's just say being simple, or I'm going to really call it focusing, like Mark said, really knowing their lane. I feel like it also allowed them to, okay, take focus off of that and then master the back end, which is their customer service. In-N-Out has amazing customer service.
They do.
They all smile with their little apron with the big safety pin on it, and thank you. And their kids that are working there, they act like they want to be there.
Well, if you were making $18 and $20 before it even became a thing, you'd want to be there. I mean, my kids were making stupid money in high school working at In-N-Out.
Yeah, I heard they have great benefits.
It paid more than retail. It paid more than a lot of different vocations. And so, yeah, they're happy.
And they have a great process. And I love seeing it, especially at the locations where it's like glass. It's if you're doing fries, I've never worked there, but it looks like if you're doing fries all day. You know this is what they know.
And see, they fries ain't coming out no bag either. Those are potatoes that
you can
have been
see them
peeled
from the front.
Stick them in there, and you are getting fries, real potatoes. They're not.
And they're cross training you. They're rotating you so you don't get bored. Oh, training?
What? Mark says, by the way, the wings were delicious, talking about the Taqueria restaurant, but you're putting undue stress on the kitchen, spending unnecessarily on food for something that few are going to order, and it's costing you. That is so true, because KFC, they do chicken right. Okay, they done added wraps and some other stuff. I was like, come on.
Really?
KFC used to have really good chicken. You used to be able to get chicken, coleslaw, and a biscuit and something. And now it's just not the same. And Dr. Taki said
the fries, or what they have before KFC. I used to go for like their little potato fries. I think they got rid of
the potato wedges.
They got rid of the wedges.
They got rid of the wedges?
Yes.
That was major. Come on. Okay.
I know.
Don't get rid of the one thing that we like from you. Shake Shack is the very same way. Very few menu items outside of burgers, fries, and shakes. See?
Makes sense. That's it. Ergo the name Shake Shack. Maybe I'm going there because I want a shake.
And then, by the way, I'll get a hamburger and some fries to go with my shake. Mark says tacos and wings is a fusion that's not going to land. No. And Mark said, Shake Shack. See, now I'm hungry. Dr. Chucky said, now I'm hungry. This is why we talk about this stuff. What's the holdup? Can be holding us back. And we should take time, like Silviana said, and take some time just to reflect, go back over the plan. What can be holding us back? And like to Mark's point, the non-professional part of us, is that holding us back? My thoughts of like, I don't know if I want to do this. Are we lacking focus? Is it our systems?
Yes.
Wow.
Are you not
the competition?
Right? You're not being flexible. Are you not really willing to grow? Are you afraid to grow? You know, what's going on? Are you a part of Biz Chicks? What's hindering you?
Yes. So thank you for tuning in on our little conversation this morning. I would like to let you know about a women's business conference that's coming up August 24th. And if you can go to bfcevents.net. I'm going to put this in the chat. If you're interested, if you're interested in attending, you can go to bfcevents.net. Because the women's business conference will be streamed.
Mm-hmm.
It's $10 for you to come in via stream. So anyone in the world can join in on this conference. We got some great speakers. There will be panels. There is going to be lunch. We'll have something, you won't be able to eat with us, but we're going to encourage you to get your lunch and set it aside, and we'll have something playing so it won't be boring for you while we're having lunch and you watching us eat. But it is August 24th. That is a Saturday. It's going to be a really nice event. Silviana's going to be there.
Silviana.
Carolina will be there, probably tuning in from Texas. But it is it's a 9:30 to like 1:30. We're talking about resilience, momentum, overcoming challenges, and then achieving balance.
All right.
It's going to be a really, really good conversation. And Mark said they'll be serving tacos and wings. Mark, you are funny. So, and again, lunch is included. Thank you so much again for being with us on this coffee conversation. To become a part of the Biz Chicks community, you can text Biz to 33777, or you can go to bizchicks.net. We will be back tomorrow with TJ from New York City, and then Coach Karen will be coming to us on Wednesday. Thursday, Robin Shimizu and Happy Healthy Habits. Friday, the Tech Divas will be in the house talking tech and social media and media. Dr. Tachi's will be sending some great things out on indiesoupmedia.tv. Join in, connect in. Thank you all for those who are subscribed. We got a new subscriber Friday on the channel. So thank you all who are subscribing. Make sure you hit the icon, or the bell icon, so that you get notifications. Mark, thank you as always for great conversation when you come in, and we'll see you next time. Remember,
we'll check you out at Ask
Mark Ward. Yes. So remember, we're here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle.
Out of that hustle. Oh my goodness.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.